I'm Dr. Allison Collins, pediatrician at Kaiser Permanente Santa Clara and director of the Healthy Eating Active Living program. Today I'm going to do some demos. I'm going to demo how to make overnight oats. Overnight oats is a great option for breakfast because it's super easy, nutritious, keeps you full all morning long, and is a delicious way to get your day started. There's lots of different options for overnight oats, so I'm going to show a couple basic recipes. Okay, now I'm going to demo a different version of the overnight oats. It's going to be overnight Bulgar. Now when I tell people that I make overnight Bulgar, most people kind of give me a look like, what are you talking about? And that does not sound very good. Bulgar is actually a different type of whole grain. But for this recipe, whenever I demo it for people, I like people to taste it. So I like to have a taste because most people are amazed how much they like it, even though the sound isn't as sexy. So I wish I could come up with a new name for it. But this is basically apple cinnamon overnight Bulgar. But like I said, you really have to taste it because it actually has a really nice flavor. So instead of the oats, I'm going to use Bulgar. Like I said, Bulgars are whole grain, so it has a lot of the great benefits that an oat does because it's whole grain. It has lots of fiber. The portion for Bulgars is a little different than oats. So a fourth a cup is an adult portion. For this demo, I'm actually going to do a kid's portion, so I'm going to do half of a fourth, which would be an eighth. So if you're having kids help you with this, this is a great way to practice math. If you're going to make a family size, you can, instead of just doing one portion of overnight oats in a container like this, you can make a big bowl and you can have the kids multiply. So if we're going to make 3 adult portions, that's 3 4th cups. How much is that? And again, help them do some math as they're cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and do about an 1/8 a cup of Bulgar. Go ahead and put it in my cups. I like to use these kind of glass containers. You could also use a mason jar, but something that's reusable that you can easily keep using over and over. So we've got about an 1/8 a cup of that. You're going to do about a little bit more than that in your liquid. So I'm going to use almond milk. You can use all different types of milk. I'm a big fan of almond milk because it's lower sugar, but it also has a lot of nice nutty flavor. So I'm going to use about 1.5 portions compared to your grain. So I'm going to use a little bit less than a 1/4 a cup of my almond milk. Go ahead and put that in. Next, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon. So cinnamon is a nice spice. Smells sweet. So you can put however much you like. You don't need that much. I'm just going to put a couple sprinkles in because it's not a huge amount of product. So I'm going to also add some vanilla. Vanilla is nice because it adds a nice sweetness and a nice flavor. So put about 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla in. Next, I'm going to add some flaxseed. I'm a big fan of using flaxseed in a lot of my overnight oats because it adds really nice fiber, helps with your digestion, keeps you regular, also can help with cholesterol if you're trying to work on that. You can also add chia seeds. They have a lot of the same nutrition benefits of the flax seeds. They also help absorb some of the milk and adds a little bit of, kind of gels it together. So you certainly can add a few chia seeds. They can be used interchangeably with the flax seeds. So I'm just going to put a sprinkle of the chia seeds in. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of almond butter. So when you're going to use a nut butter in something, you want to make sure you're reading the ingredients. And the ingredients in it, I often am working with kids, we say, what should the ingredients in a nut butter be? And the answer is, of course, just that nut. So this one just has almonds in it. Sometimes they'll have salt. If you like your salted, a little bit of salt's okay. But you want to make sure because some of the different nut butters have sugar, have a lot of oil, have a lot of other not natural ingredients. So like I said, main ingredient should just be the nut. For this one, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of nut butter. So I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to put it on my spoon. And all I'm going to do is just mix that in. If you like little chunks of the nut butter, you don't have to mix it as well. If you like it really nice mixed in, you can kind of mix it in really smoothly. And all I'm going to do is put the lid on, soak this overnight. I go ahead and put it in the fridge at least 12 hours. Now, if you want to make it a couple nights ahead, if you want to make a bunch on the weekend and keep them for the week, this would last at least 2 to 3 days, maybe even longer. Next morning, pop it out. I'm then just going to add a little bit of cut up apple. And again, I like to use a lot of fruit in it. So I like to make about half of it fruit. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop up my apple. Now the apple you could add the night before. That would be fine to let it soak in with things, or you can add it first thing in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Might even add a little bit more. Again, I really like to get a lot of the nutrition in there through some fruits. Put that in. Mix it up if you want, or you can keep it layered. I like to kind of mix it up. And then for this one, I actually really like to have this one hot. because I find it kind of brings out the flavor even more. So I would actually go ahead and microwave this for about 30 seconds, stir it up, and then you have it ready to go. I like to add some nuts in the morning, so I like to add almonds for this one, but you certainly can add any kind of nut of your choice. Walnuts, pecans, cashews, whatever you like. Sprinkle that on there. And there you go, there's your breakfast. Ready to go. Again, if you don't like to eat first thing in the morning, you could take that with you for school or for work for later. But you have a really nice filling breakfast that will keep you going all morning long. Okay, thanks for joining us today. We made lots of different overnight oats, so you can see we have lots of different varieties, lots of different tastes depending on what you and your kids prefer. A lot of these recipes you can swap out, like I said, different fruits, different spices. You can switch different grains around, so you can really customize it, make it different. This is a great way to get a change in your breakfast. So if you're used to eating breakfast cereal, unfortunately it's pretty processed. It doesn't really keep you full throughout the morning. So this is a great way to have a nice filling breakfast that gives lots of nutrition, but also is really tasty. And so has lots of really good flavor. And hopefully you can create ones that you really like that fit your taste preferences. Thanks for joining me today. Again, I'm Allison Collins, pediatrician at Kaiser Permanente in Santa Clara, and I help direct the Healthy Eating Active Living program.